Nomsa was a woman of simple means, living in a small village in the heart of South Africa. Her life was a testament to resilience and quiet strength, a story woven with threads of hardship and hope. She worked tirelessly as a seamstress, her needle dancing rhythmically with thread to mend clothes for her community. Each stitch was a labor of love, a small act of service that brought her closer to her neighbors. Life was a tapestry of challenges, but her spirit remained as bright as the fabric she brought back to life. The vibrant colors of the cloth she worked with mirrored the vibrancy of her soul, undeterred by the trials she faced. Despite the hardships, Nomsa had a heart brimming with faith, a belief in something greater than herself. Her prayers were whispered into the wind, carried by a hope that transcended her immediate struggles. Nomsa's days were filled with the hum of her sewing machine and the chatter of neighbors. The rhythmic sound of the machine was a constant in her life, a reminder of her purpose and the community she served. She was a beacon of kindness, always willing to lend a helping hand or offer words of encouragement. Her wisdom was sought after, her presence a comfort to those around her. Her small home was often filled with laughter and the aroma of freshly baked bread, a testament to her warm and welcoming nature. The simple joys of life were celebrated within her walls, creating a sanctuary of love and warmth. She believed in the power of community, and found solace in the shared joys and sorrows of her neighbors. The bonds she forged were strong, built on mutual respect and a shared sense of purpose. Yet, behind her cheerful disposition, Nomsa carried a heavy burden. The weight of her responsibilities often left her feeling isolated, her thoughts a constant whirl of worry and doubt. Her husband, a kind and hard-working farmer, had passed away a few years ago, leaving her to raise their two young children alone. His absence was a void that could never be filled, a loss that shadowed her every step. The weight of responsibility was immense, a constant reminder of her loss and the uncertain future that lay ahead. Each day was a battle against the odds, a struggle to keep her family afloat. Each day was a delicate balancing act, a struggle to provide for her children while keeping their spirits high. She juggled her work and her role as a mother with grace, her love for her children a driving force behind her every action. Despite her best efforts, Nomsa couldn't shake the feeling of being trapped in a cycle of hardship. The walls of her small home sometimes felt like they were closing in, the weight of her circumstances pressing down on her. Her meager income barely covered their basic needs, and the worry etched on her face was a constant companion. Every coin was counted, every expense scrutinized, as she tried to stretch her limited resources to meet their needs. She prayed fervently for a change, for a sign that they would be all right, that her children would have a brighter future. Her faith was her anchor, a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. Little did she know, her prayers were about to be answered in a way she could never have imagined. A new chapter was on the horizon, one that would bring unexpected blessings and a glimmer of hope for a better tomorrow. Life threw relentless challenges Nomsa's way, testing her resilience and challenging her faith. Each day seemed to bring a new trial, a fresh wave of adversity that threatened to overwhelm her spirit. Yet, she faced each obstacle with a quiet determination, drawing strength from deep within. The rains, usually a blessing for their crops, became unforgiving torrents, flooding their fields and washing away their hopes of a bountiful harvest. The once fertile land turned into a swampy wasteland, and the villagers watched helplessly as their hard work was undone by nature's fury. The dreams of a prosperous season were drowned in the relentless downpour. Food became scarce, and hunger gnawed at their bellies. The market stalls, once brimming with fresh produce, now stood empty and desolate. Families rationed what little they had, and the sound of children's cries for food became a haunting melody in the village. Nomsa's heart ached as she saw the desperation in the eyes of her neighbors. Her son, a bright and energetic boy, fell terribly ill. His laughter, which once filled their home with joy, was replaced by the sound of labored breathing and painful coughs. Nomsa spent sleepless nights by his side, her mind racing with worry and fear. She prayed for his recovery, hoping against hope that he would pull through. The local healer could do little to alleviate his suffering. Despite their best efforts, the remedies and treatments seemed to have no effect. The healer's concerned expression mirrored Nomsa's own growing despair. She felt the weight of helplessness pressing down on her, as if the very air around her was thick with sorrow. Nomsa watched helplessly as her son grew weaker, her heart breaking with each labored breath. She held his hand, whispering words of comfort and love, trying to be strong for him even as her own strength waned. The days blurred into nights and time seemed to stand still in their small, dimly lit room. The weight of her burdens threatened to crush her, but still, she clung to her faith. She found solace in her prayers, a momentary escape from the harsh reality that surrounded her. Each prayer was a plea for mercy, a cry for strength, and a testament to her unwavering belief in a higher power. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the village, Nomsa found herself kneeling beside her son's makeshift bed. The golden light bathed the room in a warm glow, and for a brief moment, the world outside seemed to fade away. She closed her eyes and let the silence envelop her, drawing comfort from the stillness. Tears streamed down her face as she poured out her heart to God, her voice filled with a mixture of despair and unwavering belief. She begged for a miracle, for a sign that her prayers were being heard. Her tears were a release, a way to cleanse her soul of the fear and pain that had taken root. "Please," she whispered, her voice hoarse from crying, "don't take my son, show me a way, give me the strength to endure this." Her words hung in the air, a fragile thread of hope in the midst of overwhelming darkness. She felt a deep connection to the divine, as if her soul was reaching out and touching something greater than herself. That night, Nomsa barely slept. She stayed by her son's side, wiping his brow and praying ceaselessly. The hours dragged on, each minute feeling like an eternity. She watched over him with a fierce protectiveness, determined to be there for him no matter what. Her love for him was a beacon of light in the darkness. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the cracks in the walls, a sense of peace washed over her. The soft light brought with it a new day, a fresh start. She took a deep breath, feeling a calmness settle in her heart. It was as if the dawn had brought with it a promise of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest times there is always light. She couldn't explain it, but she felt a glimmer of hope, a belief that she was not alone in her struggle. The morning light seemed to whisper to her, telling her that she had the strength to face whatever came next. With renewed determination, she stood up, ready to face the challenges of the day, knowing that she was not alone. Later that morning, a stranger arrived in the village. She was cloaked in a long flowing robe, her face partially hidden by a hood. The villagers, going about their daily routines, couldn't help but notice her presence. She moved with a grace that seemed almost otherworldly, her steps light and purposeful. An old woman, her face etched with wisdom and her eyes twinkling with kindness, watched the stranger from a distance. Her name was Nomsa, a respected elder in the village known for her gentle spirit and deep faith. She had traveled from a distant land, drawn to the village by a dream. In her dream, she had seen a place of peace and hope, a place where she could find solace and perhaps offer something in return. The villagers, wary of outsiders, were hesitant to approach her. They whispered among themselves, wondering who this mysterious woman could be and what her intentions were. Their curiosity was tinged with caution, as they had learned to be careful of strangers. But Nomsa, her heart open to any possibility of help, offered the old woman water and a place to rest. She approached the stranger with a warm smile, her hands extended in a gesture of welcome. The old woman accepted gratefully, her eyes reflecting a deep sense of relief. The old woman was immediately drawn to Nomsa's quiet strength and unwavering faith. They sat together under the shade of a large tree, sharing stories and experiences. Nomsa spoke of her life, her struggles, and her hopes for the future. As they spoke, the old woman listened intently to Nomsa's story, her heart aching for the young mother's suffering. She could see the pain in Nomsa's eyes, the weight of her burdens, and the strength she had shown in facing them. When Nomsa had finished, the old woman smiled gently and said, "My child, you have been chosen." Her voice was soft yet filled with a sense of authority, as if she were delivering a message from a higher power. God has heard your prayers and seen your unwavering faith." Nomsa was taken aback, her mind racing with questions. She had never considered herself special or chosen for anything extraordinary. Nomsa was taken aback. Her heart pounded in her chest as she tried to process the old woman's words. Chosen? What could the old woman possibly mean? She wondered if this was some kind of mistake or misunderstanding. She had always seen herself as just another villager, no different from anyone else. She was just a simple seamstress, a grieving widow struggling to raise her children. Her days were filled with the mundane tasks of survival, sewing clothes to make a living, and caring for her little ones. She couldn't comprehend how she could be chosen for anything special. Doubt clouded her mind, and she felt a mix of confusion and curiosity. But the old woman's words ignited a spark of hope within her. For the first time in a long while, she felt a glimmer of possibility, a sense that perhaps there was more to her life than she had ever imagined. The old woman, sensing Nomsa's disbelief, placed a comforting hand on her arm. Her touch was gentle, yet it carried a sense of reassurance and strength. "You have a gift, my child," she said, her voice filled with conviction. "A gift that can bring healing and hope to those around you. It is a rare and precious gift, one that must be nurtured and shared. A gift for healing and for bringing hope to others." Nomsa felt a warmth spread through her chest, a sense of purpose beginning to take root. Embrace this gift, use it to serve God and your community, and you will see the blessings that follow. The old woman's words resonated deeply within Nomsa, filling her with a newfound determination and a sense of destiny.